Today we're going to be putting together the Fantasia spinning wheel. It's a pretty simple wheel to put together, but sometimes it helps just to see someone else doing it. So let's get started. The first thing that you're going to want to do is locate the crank, and you'll notice that there's an arm going down on the crank. That needs to face towards the thicker part of the swoosh. If you've got it going the other way, it's simply not going to work. So you'll just insert that to the hole on the drive wheel. And it is designed to be a little bit on the spec side. Then you'll locate the two brass screws and put them into the pre-drilled holes and screw them down. Next, you'll be attaching the treadle brace to the wheel post. Locate the two barrel nuts, slide them into the hole, and then you'll insert it into the holes on the post. You'll notice there are 4 holes here. We're going to go into the top ones. The other ones are slightly smaller, so you'll notice they don't fit. And you'll locate your level screws with the washers. This will into the holes provided. And you'll use your Allen wrench to tighten them down. Next, you'll take your wheel post and you'll latch it to your treadles. There's a pre-drilled hole on the treadles, and it lines up this little arc on the treadle holder. You'll have another barrel nut in here. Take your other long screw. For this, you'll have to kind of lift up your wheel. And again, you'll tighten down with the Allen wrench. Next, you'll attach your tension arm to the front of your wheel. You'll insert it into the hole. Place the barrel nut inside. Use your large washer and your final screw. Next, you'll want to attach your handy little carry bundle. We'll just simply insert the screws into the pre-drilled holes. Again, using your screwdriver, attach the handle. Next, we're going to attach the drive wheel. Take the smaller of the large washers, place it over the axle, then take the large washer, place that over the top of that. Insert that into the hole on your post. Then you place the last of the smaller washers onto the back, followed by the screw with the little down washer. Again, you'll use your Allen wrench. Make sure that this is a very snug connection. Next, we're going to put on the Footman. Now, you can either place the Footman on first. I kind of find it easier sometimes to connect them to the treadle first. It just seems a little less awkward. So either way works. The one thing you want to watch out for, though, is that there's a bit more of a curve on the front side of the Footman than there is on the back, so you want to make sure that that faces forward. And you'll put that connector into the hole that's on your treadle. And you want to get it down to where this is approximately 2 inches. Then you'll just take the small brass screw and you'll attach it into the side of the treadle. Now we'll attach the second one. And you'll do the same thing. Now this one is a tad bit tighter. You may find it helpful to just put the tiniest amount of oil on here. Don't overdo. You don't want a lot of oil in there, but that can sometimes help it to slide in that hole. And again, you'll want to check to make sure that it's 2 inches before inserting the screw. To attach the footman to the crank, use a screwdriver to loosen the screw until the little nut comes off. Then you'll pry open the footman. Be careful you don't go too far because you don't want to split the wood down here. Just enough to get it up and over the crank, and then slide it onto the brass bearing. Then you'll take the little nut, replace it, and screw the screw in. Then you'll take the other footman and do the same thing. Gently pry it open and over the brass bearing and replace the nut. You'll also note that the left footman is in the front and the right footman is in the rear. Now it's time to install the pre-assembled spindle unit. Take the 2 thin washers and place them into the hole. Place the larger washer on top of those. Now take the spindle and put it into the hole as well. Arrange the washers as you go so that they'll slide nicely into the hole. It should rest flush against the wheel post. Use the 2 hex bolts to secure the spindle. Use the Allen wrench to tighten them securely. And repeat this with the second set of bolts. Notice how the bolts overlap slightly onto the spindle, and the spindle spins freely. Okay, now that we have our spindle attached to our wheel, we're going to move on to the flare. The first thing you'll need to do is put the whirl on, but in order to do that, we need to loosen up this little tiny screw. There's a very small Allen wrench included with your wheel, so you're going to just back this out a little bit. Don't take it all the way out because if you do, it's really difficult to put it back in. You just want to loosen it so that it's not going to get into the way of the spindle as we slide it on. You're also going to notice there's a little arm on the base of the spindle, and that goes into this little groove. So you just slide it on, line it up with that little arm, and attach it. Then reach in behind and tighten up that little screw so that your whirl stays in place. Next, we need to put our hooks onto our plier. They're going to go so that they're facing outward a little bit. That way they're not in the way of the bobbin. And you just slide them on. You'll put 2 facing up that way and slide 2 on the other side. So if you look, you've got 2 facing in each direction. The next thing we're going to do is attach the brake assembly. You'll need to locate the eye hook that has the little opening in it, and that's going to go into the pre-drilled hole towards the back of the tension brace. And you'll want to stop at a point where the opening is facing downward. Then you'll take a second eye hook and you'll attach it into the hole on the opposite side. Your third eye hook is going to go into the little hole on it. And this last hook is actually to hold your threading hook. Then you're going to take your spring, connect it to the first eye hook that we attached, the one with the little hole in it. Bring it around the top, through the eye hole, and then attach it by tying it to the little peg. There's a little hole in that tension peg that makes that very easy. And that's going to go into this bar peg. And you'll just wind on the extra string. Next, you're going to put your bobbin on, and you're going to use the larger pulley next to your standard whirl. Slide it on, place the brake band over, and you'll adjust to just where the spring is engaged, but never allow that to really stretch out. You'll have a very hard time spinning that way. Then you'll attach your flyer. And this is one of the really cool things about the Fantasia is it has magnetic grab in there. So you'll just place that on there and just rotate it until it snaps in place. Okay, once you've got your dry band in place, you can place your Daisy Kate rods into the wheelbase. Are you ready for flying? Or simply for FOD storage? Your Fantasia is ready to